We'll be looking at the offset curve command. If you'd like to follow along in your working files folder, go into chapter 4 and select the offset curves file. Here you can see we have several curves, some freeform, some polyline curves, and we're looking at them in the top viewport. To offset a curve, we select the curve, and we go to the curve menu, and we select offset curve. You can see the command line is saying side to offset, and if I drag my cursor to the right or the left of this line, you'll see a tracking line showing which way the curve will offset. The distance is set to 2, but we can change that. For now, 2 is fine. And we'll just click to the left, and you can see we've offset a new curve. Go ahead and select that curve again. I'm going to reapply the curve. This time I'm going to choose it under the toolbar menu, and that's under curves. And it's this icon here, offset curve. And you see right away we get the smart track line showing which direction we're going to go. We can change the distance. If I just type a 5 and hit enter, you'll see that tracking line grow to show us how far 5 will be. So I'll just go ahead and click that. Let me just delete that curve. We'll do this one more time on the straight line, and this time we use a slightly different option. So again, I'll go to the curve menu. So again, I'll go to the curve toolbar, select offset curve, and this time I'm going to click on through point. What that does is rather than offsetting a curve a specified distance, it allows us to either drag and visually place the curve, or use one of our snaps to actually place the curve in a certain location that we may need for a model. So I can use mid snaps, end snaps, any of the snaps that I have access to. You can see we can snap it right there. So now we've offset this curve, snapped directly to the endpoint of this freeform curve. We'll go ahead and delete the curves we've created. And we'll apply this command again, but this time to one of the polyline curves. So I'll select this curve, select curve, offset curves. Our smart track remembers the last distance that was set, and since we did the through point, it was actually 56.8952 millimeters. We're going to change that. We'll just set that to 3, so I'll type a 3, hit enter, and I can drag again to the left or to the right to offset to the inside or outside of this curve. Let me select this. I'll hit right mouse click to reapply the command. And this time, let's look at a few different options that we have. So under cap, it's set to none. I'm going to go ahead and change that to flat. And this time when I offset the curve, what it's done is it's offset the curve here, but it's drawn a flat cap between these two offset curves. So it actually gives us a closed curve. I'll go ahead and undo that. I'll redo the command. This time I'll set cap to round. And now you can see it's given us a rounded cap to the end piece. Let's offset this curve here. We'll select the curve, go to the curve toolbar, select offset. This time I'm going to set cap back to none, and I'm going to select both sides. So now you can see what my smart track is doing here. It's actually showing us that we're going to extend this offset to both sides of this curve. And let me change my distance. I'm going to make that, let's say, 1.75. Hit enter. So now we've offset 1.75 millimeters to the outside and to the inside of that curve. And you can see it adjusts the radius of the curve depending on which way you're going. You can also do the offset command. Let me apply that again. I'll set cap to round and select both sides. And now we've drawn both sides of that curve and we've got a rounded end. So we have a closed curve for that shape. This doesn't have to just be done on polylines. We can also do this on freeform curves. So we can select this curve. I'll switch cap to none for now. And let's offset that 5 millimeters. And what's happened here is as we get to the end, we've actually offset it further than this radius is. So when it does that, it starts to distort this end. It's not quite sure how to handle that. Let me go ahead and undo that. We'll offset it again, 1.5. And you can see we have a nice smooth curvature. So select this curve, offset this, both sides, set the cap to flat, and this time we'll do a through point. And we'll just kind of drag this out until we get a size that looks about right for us. Click. As you can see, it's drawn a nice arc shape with two capped ends. So I can come down here to this little box, and that's showing me the current layer. If I left click on this, it shows me all my layers. And I can switch the light bulb for this layer off, making this layer invisible. And I can switch this layer, the red layer, on. Now the closed curve layer is on. We still have all the new items that we created with the offset, because the default layer has the check mark, which means it's the current layer, so any new curves that were created were drawn on the default layer. I'll go ahead and check this layer to make that current, and I'll also switch off the default layer from down here. If you're more comfortable with it, you can still work in the layers palette over here. But if you need some more screen real estate, you can do just about everything you need to do down here. So now let's look at some closed polygons and curves. So we'll take the circle, go to curve, offset curve, and you can see same types of commands. I can type a number to offset, or I can hit the letter T and enter for a through point, and I can snap to different objects here as well. So that works just the same as for the other curves. Same with this rounded rectangle. I can apply the offset curve command, type a number, and I can go inside and outside with that command. Now the one that's a little bit different is anytime you have these 90-degree corners, because you can adjust how that's handled. So in the command line, if I go up to corner and leave that at sharp, when I click, it just makes an object with sharp corners. If I switch that to round, I'll change that distance to 6 and click. Now you can see we've created a rectangle with rounded outside corners. If I do that same command, change that to a 2, and click to the inside, the curve that's created has a rounded inside corner, so it's going to be rounded, and any of the outside corners on that one will stay at 90 degrees. And that concludes our look at the offset curve command.